Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Behind the Scum. My name is MarkstromTV, and I'll be your host today. And of course, I will be joined by my absolutely fantastic co-host, my main man, Deadlyslob. Deadly, what's going on, man? How you doing?
What's going on, fellas? It's an honor to be here, man. I'm really excited to talk with my man Wander about SCUM and get a little bit more information about the game and also answer some of your guys' questions in the chat.
Of course, the man of the hour, Wonder. How are you, man? Thank you so much for making this possible. I appreciate it tremendously. What's up?
Thanks for inviting me, guys. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely, man. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. I've been looking forward to this ever since we made this a reality. I know a lot of you guys are very, very, very excited. Again, I'd like to reiterate the fact that this will be posted on YouTube this evening. Hopefully, I will be able to make that happen. You guys know that I'm not the most proficient YouTuber. I'm no Deadlyslob, but I'll try and get it up.
He's going to get after it. Don't worry. It'll be there. We'll make sure.
If I can't, Deadly will most certainly hold my hand for it. So thank you. Appreciate that. So without any further ado, my man Wonder, tell us, please, a little about SCUM. Give us a nice brief interview. Assume that nobody here has done any of their homework or have any idea what this game is about. Hit us, man.
I have no idea what this game is.
That is not going to bode very well for the rest of the broadcast. Yikes.
I'm getting probably fired. So, all right. SCUM. So the people who don't know what SCUM is, that's my fault. I did a bad job. But let me ease you into it. So SCUM is a survival game in its core. I know, survival game, early access. It doesn't ring really good, but that's why we are all here. It's gonna be the next level. We will talk about it, all the features that we plan to it, to see why we actually say it's gonna be the next level. I'm a bit nervous now, so no problem there.
No, that's all good, man. No reason to be nervous.
I have a blank mind.
It's all good.
Put them on the spot. The tough questions.
Like, our game is best explained through questions.
Okay. Kind of. No worries. No worries. You're amongst friends, my man. I got you. So
yeah, I'll just jump in real quick. Like, cause like I know it seems like it's difficult to like give a clear answer on that, because I feel like what we played at PAX, there's so many different layers to what's going on in the game world that it is really, from what I can see so far, like I might be proven wrong when we get to actually get our hands on it with NDA lift in August, but there's really nothing at the moment that's quite like it, right? Definitely draws similarities from like other survival games like DayZ and, you know, Miscreate and stuff, but it's truly unique. So
yeah, obviously we can't say like it's an original idea, because let's be honest, it's not.
Right.
But again, we saw all the problems that all the predecessors had of survival games. And like all of them were kind of broken, not finished. So we said, hey, I mean, it's on a bad rap, but let's try to make something actually worth, that's good, and that people can enjoy, you know? And this is when SCUM started.
I think that's like one of the first things that really drew me in. It is incredibly clear, and I know I've said this to you before, but it's incredibly clear to me that having watched a lot of the YouTube content that you guys have put out, it's obvious that you guys have been doing your research. It's obvious that you have played many, many, many survival shooters out there and recognize a lot of the issues that exist in the games. Some of those issues are absolutely community breaking at times, and you're doing your absolute best to attempt to resolve a lot of those in advance of anyone even getting their hands on it. So that's something that really, really stuck out to me. You know what I mean? For example, like the first versus, third person debate, even though I think that idea has been scrapped at this point, I think that it just goes to show that you're thinking of these things in advance, and that has me stoked personally.
Do you talk about the red outline, or?
I'm sorry. Yeah. The outline kind of solution, etc.
The whole skill is being kind of reworked.
Right. Right.
Maybe it will come back in a
There's like a good experimental idea though, because like I feel no one is trying to tackle that issue to like provide both at the same time. You know, so like shooting out some ideas that might work in gameplay, you know, and let us test it is not a bad thing too. Because like who knows, it might be the solution to the problem, right? If like it just depends.
Deadly, would you mind? I cranked up Discord so that we could hear Wonder a little bit better, but now you're super loud. Because unfortunately,
man, I'm just booming.
You're booming
Here,
over there.
Just tell me when, boss. Tell me when. We all right?
A little bit lower.
A little lower?
Yeah, you're good.
Lower?
You're good now. Perfect.
Oh, we're good?
Yeah,
we're
thank
nice?
you.
All right,
now everyone can crank it for themselves, so that should work out. Hopefully that's a little bit better for you guys. I can't adjust individual audios when we're in a group call. Does that work out? Can I get a 1-1 in the chat? Make sure that we're good for the rest of the broadcast.
All right.
Let me see.
I'm still loud as fuck, apparently.
I see it. Nothing but 1-1s. We're primo. All right, cool.
We're pretty good.
Thank you, guys. All right, sorry. Go ahead. Let's see.
So yeah, what I want to
go ahead, Wonder.
What I wanted to say about the outlines and mechanics like that, like the whole problem also with the genre of the game was like there were a lot of games like survival games were coming up, and okay, no problem. But nobody was trying to be, let's try something new. Let's try, or just to fix the goddamn problems that were with the rest before. You know, nobody was doing that. Like, so, I mean, from a business perspective, if you make something that's good that people would like, aka fixing the problem of before games, people will like it. People will buy your product. And regarding the game culture as well, I mean, if there's potential to make something good, just like make it. You know,
absolutely. I see
holding it back.
I see Deadly smiling over there, and I'm reading his mind.
Sorry, I gotta close chat. I gotta close chat. It's so distracting. It's unbelievable. Fellas.
I think that's the thing is, like, Deadly and I have talked about this for a very long time. There is a reason why the exact same survival shooters have been around and somewhat on top for a very long time. Because no one has been able to do it better. We haven't seen anyone really take the survival shooter genre by the balls and work something out that is the quality that a lot of people have come to expect from the current state of the gaming industry. They want something that's at least mildly polished, and the same issues over and over again in the early access realm of gaming has frustrated a lot of people. And it's very refreshing for you guys to have that take, to be equally as frustrated as we, the consumer, are, and recognize that that's been an issue for quite some time, and to try and tackle it through that mindset. I think we can really appreciate that. If you wouldn't mind, where does this leave us off with just the rather than just ask you to break down exactly what SCUM is as a game, because I know that's a tall order. Give us a little backstory about like the lore of the game for some people who don't know.
Okay, so actually a really good point, because when we showed off the robot in the trailer, people were like, "What's going on here? Why is there a robot?" Okay, so the whole backstory is that, like, in a distant future, we didn't still set a date or a year, so don't ask that. In a distant future, like, the whole world is mostly run by governments, not by states. States are just puppets, and people are starting to be aware of those problems. So those companies made a global TV show where they would put like death row criminals on it and just make them like live there, try to survive, and it's a good mix between like the gamer, Hunger Games. There was one else, I can't remember the name. Never mind. So when they're on this island, the broadcasts are like worldwide, and in the lore, that TV show took like the attention of the whole world, of the population. So they're distracted by that, and they don't pay attention to what's actually going around them. There will be also like some kind of mechanics, like if you have like enough money for it, maybe you can buy your own prisoner. maybe control him. Hashtag foreshadowing for the future, maybe. And that's pretty much it in score. The island where the prisoners live was also used in the past for all sorts of kinds of experiments. There are certain zones that are off limits, hence the robot that's protecting the zones. And yeah, there's a lot of going around. There's also people were asking like, why is this the second season? Did I miss the first game? Where's the first game?
Right.
Like, no. This is the first game. It's just the second season. The first season was like a tryout. It was still broadcasted and everything. But there were like rumors that certain people managed to escape from the island, and then they established a little group of like outlaws, good guys in a bad world, who will have also a role in the second.
Very interesting. Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for some of the backstory.
Sounds
there.
like there's going to be a lot of story.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of story elements that are like weaved into the world
yeah.
that you can like get involved with. Is there going to be like, are you going to be like having missions in the world that you can complete actively with other people?
Yes.
Or is there going to be like a single player offline experience?
To correct myself, for now, we will probably integrate just for time being in single player missions, like a campaign of some sort.
Okay.
Then we'll see how it will pan out. And like to be on a flight ground, we are a studio of 15 people. We don't have like the whole storyline and everything pan up from beginning to end.
Right.
You know? We don't have that. We will like go slowly with the community, and of course we have a broad idea of what we want to have in the game and what will be in the game. But of course, it's going to be also community driven. So like a lot of questions, there's no answers yet because we don't have them. You know. But hey, that's why we're here, talking to people, talking to you guys to try to make the best thing possible.
And on that note, I see a lot of questions in chat. We are going to have a Q&A after we kind of run through some of the more basic sections of what we'd like to discuss that Deadly and I have planned out a little bit and gone over with Wonder. So just keep that in mind. Make sure that you are writing your questions down, and we'll definitely have a session towards the end of the cast where you guys can ask whatever you'd like, and we'll be drawing from the chat. So I think that one of the things that a lot of people haven't necessarily talked about enough is the general, I would say like the way that the game plays and just how it's like laid out in front of you as a player, right? What was immediately apparent to me, and I think one of the best ways that I've been able to like make sense of it in my brain and break it down is think very much so like GTA 5. In the sense that you are on a online multiplayer community or an online multiplayer server of a certain amount of people, and it is an open world survival experience, right? Very similar to what you would see or experience, and at any point, correct me if I'm wrong, Wonder, but it very similar to like a DayZ or an Arma 3 Exile mod type setting. But at any point, there are events that occur that you get teleported to and like literally physically moved to that happen in real time on the map that you can participate in that are almost like you could compare them to like game modes in a game like Battlefield, for example, or any of your classic FPS game modes like, you know, Capture the Flag, Team Deathmatch, etc. And then you get to play through those team v team, and I believe you can choose whether or not you participate in them. And then when that is over, you get sent back to where you were, back to that survival mode setting. So you can really choose just how much action or lack thereof that you want. I get all that basically on point, Wonder?
Yes, exactly. Thank you for doing my job.
Yeah, nope. Listen, man. That is just something that I just haven't seen people necessarily talk about. Like a lot of people are talking about this is an open world survival game. But to me, that fixes so many of the problems that we see between differing preferences in survival shooter communities, right? If we think about DayZ, there are so many different play styles that exist that just don't necessarily mesh well with one another all the time. And some people just want to go out and, as the Deadly Nation likes to say, do some survival bullshit. So
listen, man, sometimes I like building tents in the woods and snaring rabbits. All right, what can I say? All right,
absolutely
going fishing with a can. I don't know.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's totally fine.
And that's great. But then you have like this. You have this. You look at my community, right? And they want me to go to run directly at any gunshots that I hear without question and attempt to shoot someone in the face. That's all that they want, and that's cool. But to be able to capture both of those audiences, and have them like fully engaged and not at each other's throats about like play style and trying to, denounce people for the way that they play. This game seems like it's going to allow you to do both without really any issue, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Like what we are trying to do here, like, is obviously when PUBG became like a big thing, we were like, oh, okay, like people like it. Can we maybe do something like that, just in a better way? And that's when the idea of the events that you played on PAX, that you had the opportunity to see, came in mind. Because what we're also trying to build is a game that can be played by everybody. It doesn't matter like if you want to go shoot people in the face, point blank, or want to go snare rabbits with a pen or something like that. I don't know. You can try to. That's what we're trying to build up. SCUM, a huge world where everybody can find their forte. Events, snaring rabbits, or you can go play single player, without anybody. Just like be alone, have some fun, kind of kill puppets or whatever you wanna. Or later on, when we add more like missions, campaign, lore, if you dig that, we can also go like, if people will like it, the lore and all of those stuff, we can expand it. Why not? So yeah, we're all really trying to build up a world where everybody can fit in and play their style, find people that play them, or play alone, or pretty much do whatever you like.
That's awesome. How easy do you think this game is going to be able to be played with your friends? Because obviously that's a huge part of gaming, especially for me. Gaming is very, very social. As a broadcaster, like how easy is it for like, just say like me and Deadly to jump in and play with each other? Because when you look
at, are we going to run across the map and dehydrate and die before we meet each other?
Where would you get that idea from? Why? That sounds oddly specific.
We get stuck at the well. We get stuck at the well. Come on.
Yeah, that sounds oddly specific.
For a time being, on the release, it's probably going to be that you just will spawn one point on the map.
Mm-hmm.
There won't you won't be able to. I don't know. Maybe if you're lucky, you can spawn like right next to each other on the same spawn point. It can happen.
So spawns are completely random then. There isn't like a coast that is meant for like less gear, right? Because you see in a lot of games, they're on the coast for less gear, and then you move inland towards like a more geared area. It's just random.
Yeah,
with certain random, like, points of interest.
We are trying to do it. We are trying to do it like in a realistic way. Like if it's gonna be a show and the whole island is controlled like by the production crew, the companies that like they don't really care where you are. If you go to a place that you should not be, you probably get shot in the face by a huge robot.
Sure.
So they're like, fine, you go anywhere, we'll just drop you anywhere on the island. They don't really care. So by that premise, like you can spawn anywhere. You can spawn by just besides a military base that's full with loot, full with military gear. But will you be able to go into it? Now that's another story. Probably not.
Gotcha.
Don't try it, really. Don't.
That's neat. So yeah. One thing that's like a massive difference from some of the more popular ones out there is the fact that you have a permanent in-game map that you can pull up at any time. There's no.
Oh no, that's just for your testers.
That's just for the testers. Okay, gotcha.
Not gonna be that easy.
Interesting.
There will be probably an item. It's gonna be a map that you'll be able to find. We will see, like maybe we will like make it into fours, so you can be able to find fours. We were also talking about the navigation skill. that will give you an ability like to maybe draw your own rudimental map or something like that.
Okay.
That's also an idea. So yeah, like we're open for a lot of options. We'll see what fits.
Neat. What is the size of the map that we're going to be looking at, like in comparison to some of the other games out there?
It's 12 by 12 kilometers. DayZ has a bigger map. I'm sure of that. I think.
Yeah.
They have like 14 times 14 or 16 times 16, something like that.
Chernar's Plus is massive.
Yeah, it's huge. We found like the sweet spot with 12 by 12 because like if you make something like really big, well, first you need to fill it out with stuff that's interesting for people to play.
Mm-hmm.
The second problem is the technology you work in. You know, we work with Unreal Engine 4 and a map that's 12 by 12 with all the features and stuff that we have in. It's already pushing the limits slightly, you know. So yeah, we found it like to be the approximate size, the best size for 64 people that will be in, to have a decent player-to-player contact, and still have some kind of like a possible alone time, wanna call it like that.
Awesome.
But again, that's just 1/4 of the island, of the whole like basic island, and who knows like what the future can bring. If we can maybe expand in some way, maybe, I don't know. We'll see about it, or I don't know, SCUM 2.
Sure.
I kind of want to jump in here because a few minutes ago you mentioned puppets. I feel like that probably went over a lot of people's heads on what that could be. I think we're gonna like start talking a little bit more about gameplay features now, right? Mark kind of dive into that a little. So I think that's a good place to start because for me, I think what a lot of survival games right now, survival shooters do poorly, is providing decent enough threats in the world that kind of make the player feel challenged. And sometimes it could even be difficult, but having like a wide range of variety of always going into a situation where you could get killed if you're not paying attention. So do you guys plan on having like a mixture of puppets, like people with like melee weapons up until like people with weapons? Or is puppets going to be primarily similar to like zombies?
Well, yeah, like, okay.
That might be a tough question, but...
And no, it's an easy question. In our game, puppets are equivalent to zombies in our games. Why don't we call them zombies? Because somebody said on Steam a while ago, like a year, that SCUM is a game for Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Early access, survival, zombies, and open world. I think those four were. And he called them like the 4 Riders of the Apocalypse because, well, bad experience with the later with games before. That aside, like the puppets that we have, or quote unquote our zombies. Why do we call them puppets? Because they're not like traditional zombies. Like there was no like a virus outbreak and everybody's brain got eaten, or I know the creepy grandma from your neighborhood threw a wood spell and now everybody's a zombie. That's not it. Like people who maybe saw some of our videos probably noticed the chip in the back of the head of the player. As this is a distant future, technology is more advanced. And that chip gives you like a lot of perks. One of those is the UI that you see, like when you play the game, the UI, inventory and stuff like that. You can see it thanks to that chip. At one point, in just like going a bit aside, in the campaign, if you want to like get off the island, that's the end goal, to get off the island. You will need to remove the chip, and once you do that, you'll lose all of your user interface.
Oh, so that's cool.
That's neat.
So back to the puppets. If you die with that chip in your head, that chip takes control of your nervous system and gets you back up like a brainless thing that just walks around and it's aggressive. So that's pretty much it. That's why we call them puppets. And also, like the chip they have in their head, they can be also influenced and controlled by the TV company. That's
any thoughts on player-controlled puppets?
Ooh.
Sorry, didn't get it.
Any thoughts on player-controlled puppets? Will the...
Oh yeah, there was talk about that. Like, we'll see.
Okay.
We will definitely like we are a bunch of kids in our office, you know. When we get to like an idea, Like, imagine if you could control like a horde of puppets. Wouldn't that be awesome? Yes, it would. Let's make it. Then it comes like from the programmers and say, okay, kids, chill down. We can't really do that right now, but it's a good idea. We'll see later about it. Yeah, we have plans. Maybe make it possible to hack puppets, drones that you saw, the little things that fly around, and like flying cameras, drones. Maybe even of the big robot, Mr. Smiles, people saw. We will just see to what extent we want people to be able to control them.
Cool.
There was like also an idea that if that you maybe can even take control of another player, of his like character that he plays on a certain time, and like if you want, we'll just run on a building and just throw yourself off if you want to kill him or something like that. I don't know.
Neat.
Like we have a lot of ideas, and I think like that we've proven that we can put a lot of them in, make them real, because like all of the stuff features that we already have in the game that we will talk about, from like our metabolism system, from the third person peeking fix that we did, and a lot of stuff. So yeah, well, we are curious to see what the future will bring.
It sounds like a lot of the concepts for the game come from a place of just truly enjoying gaming and making sure that it's fun. First and foremost, a game has to be fun, and there's a lot of games out there that tend to try and put different aspects, especially in the survival shooter realm, different aspects of realism before fun, and that's off-putting to a lot of people. So I definitely like to hear that that's the way that you guys are in the office as far as ideas are concerned and how things are bounced around. That's really neat. I also think, to go back to what Deadly was asking, just to try and get a little bit more clarity there, will there be different levels or different types of AI that will be harder or easier depending on like what kind of weaponry they have or what kind of area they're guarding?
Yes. Yeah. That was the question that I totally.
Oh, it's okay. It's all good.
For now, like regarding puppets, for now the idea is just like to have a variety of them, but like just maybe in like speed, strength, agility, and those aspects. We didn't really like had an idea for the puppets to have like any usable weapons for now. But regarding AI in a whole, we also plan to talk to Adams some type maybe of mercenaries, like rich people who said, I want to pay shit tons of money so just I can be dropped on the island with shit tons of gear and hunt prisoners there.
Neat.
We
Interesting.
We even talked about maybe like for players to be able to do that. Maybe.
Very cool.
That might be a good segue into the next.
Yeah, that for now that's just in the talks. It's
so
like it's just on paper.
We're
nothing. So I'm just telling you what we're talking about.
No, I love to hear the concepts. There's no doubt about it. I love to hear the concepts.
Yeah, well,
the concepts are fun. Just talking about ideas, especially there's so much that you can do. It's almost overwhelming, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But like people tend to take a lot of stuff that developers say out of context.
Right. We will be sure to remind people that a lot of what we're going to be discussing is hypothetical. No doubt about it.
Hypothetical.
Because they're going to say, listen, I heard on that MarkstromTV cast and that guy Wonder, he was talking all kinds of crazy shit about this and that. Where is that? I want that in this game now. Listen, man, relax. It's a matter of what is possible versus what isn't.
I mean, we can always make a statement that I'm blonde and I don't know shit what I'm talking about. Actually, it's white. Okay.
Yeah. Do we have the real Wonder on? Because when we met him, that wasn't quite the same way he looked. I'm the
real one. I'm in my rebellious phase right now. Okay. So it's just that.
I respect it. I want to know, we've talked a lot about the fact that there is a lot of control over the island, right? We are the people who are running this game show for the prisoners, they seem to have, full control, very much so, like you mentioned, in a Hunger Games type of way, where they can, and I believe I've read this a few times now, trigger some sort of natural disasters on the map. Is that still a plan? Are we going to be seeing some of that sooner rather than later? Something to worry about?
Yeah, for now it's still an idea. Until we say that something's totally thrown out, it's still like an idea and something that we would like to have a randomized scenarios of disasters like forest fires, huge thunderstorms. Uh, Earthquakes are probably harder to pull off on the logical side. I'm not sure about that.
Just a little screen
Maybe
shake.
I don't know.
Little screen shake.
Yeah, maybe that.
Little damage.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe something like hordes of mosquitoes with malaria.
Oh man, that sounds nasty.
Who doesn't love them?
Oh yeah, I forgot. You can contract like very crazy diseases. I don't think there's any other survival game that is getting that ambitious with your disease idea. Like you can.
I told my guys that I want a Steam achievement that's is gotta catch them all, and it's gonna have like all the diseases.
You guys have to do it.
I said we have to do this.
That sounds amazing. Why don't you take a moment? Why don't you take a moment and let's discuss a little bit of the biggest things that we have to worry about for survival, right? As far as food, water, disease, all of these things are going to be regulated as far as in-game. Like, what will be our biggest day-to-day thoughts on what we have to do to stay healthy and continue to survive?
Well, that's actually a tricky question. Why? Because the whole world is really dynamic, you know?
Sure.
Like there is not one thing that you just need to take care of. There's a lot of them, and just with said it doesn't really make too much sense to take too much care of all of it because you won't be able. Like in real life, do you like take care if you go outside if like a car will hit you? It's possible, but you don't really care about it.
Sure.
So like I said the world as it's gonna be fully dynamic. You'll be able like you can just be walking like in the game, and like if you fall from a height that you didn't notice, you can like sprain your leg, break your leg maybe, or something like that, and that brings a whole lot of new problems in. From a totally basic side, what you need to take care of mostly, it will probably be, I would say it will probably like food and water and the danger of puppets. That's what I would say from my perspective. Everything else, you can't really too much influence it. That's the type of a game that we want to make.
It's kind of a slow burn, right? If you eat a certain way, or if you play a certain way, the health system is so insane that like things will just slowly start to snowball in a certain direction, right? For example, if you eat really poorly and you don't run as much, your character's going to start to get fat, right?
Yeah.
Or like if you get hit in a certain way, I don't know. Can I talk a little bit about how like the damage system works from like what we've seen from PAX or like possibly on the test build? Like I got punched by a puppet and my chest took damage, but I broke something in my chest and I started like slowly taking damage over long periods of time. Like something went wrong, like an internal organ or something like that just stopped working correctly. And that's just from a normal hit and a normal playthrough experience. And you're hunting for something that or you're trying to figure out what's wrong with you, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the thing there's, I said, there's like a lot of you got hit in the chest. Like also depending on your character. I guess it was a super buffed one, just assuming, or if you got hit in the chest, you're super buffed, and somebody who's slimmer got hit in the chest, it's gonna affect you differently. Maybe you will be able to survive for long periods of time because
So you're saying that if I eat a bunch of cheeseburgers and I put a layer of fat on my chest and I get punched in the chest, I'm not gonna. There's a chance I won't take as much damage as if I was very skinny. Is that no?
It's not the easiest.
I was really hopeful, man. I was really hoping.
I think that the one of the things that I'm seeing a lot of in the chat right now, and one of the things that a lot of people I think want to learn more about is outside of just like your day-to-day worries for survival, what are we working towards? Like what would be like a daily objective? Is it to, other than survive, jump in and out of these events that occur for the sake of whatever kind of rewards that we're going to get from them? I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that there is going to be an in-game currency of sorts, which you don't see a whole lot in other survival shooters. Is that going to be a main concern? Collect currency for the sake of buying this and that?
The currency is called fame points.
Okay.
Fame.
So how they will work is, as I said, it's a TV show, and you will earn fame points by pretty much doing it. Depending on the certain action you do, you maybe get more, you get less. Obviously, if you win in an event, you will get more fame points than if you like kill a puppet on the island. Fame points will be able to use in various ways. Mostly, it's going to be used to revive your character without losing skills, maybe even some items, depending how much you got them and accumulated them. It will also scale with your fame level. Fame level will also be a thing, depending on the level, how much. Obviously, the more you progress, the longer it's going to take to level up the fame level. And depending also what level you are, you will get maybe extra bonuses, get gifts from sponsors that you will be able to choose as well. Or I said, if you die, revive with more, like maybe even with the old things that you lost. Also, with the fame system, we're trying to approach the problem that a lot of games had is with new people coming in and just being a constant target and be abused of. So back to the question of Mark. The fame system, we also plan to have some kind of save zones that you will be able to go there if you have fame points. Maybe get some gear that are extra. Maybe heal yourself. Like if you don't have like a good medical skill and you contract a disease that you can cure, you go there. You have enough fame points, it's cured. So for now, it's still basically like surviving on the island. But I said in the future, probably like adding a campaign to get from the island. We are looking to that sort of mechanic to be like an end goal in our game. That it's gonna take like hundreds of hours to achieve. So nothing like to be like a single player game, like I know 3 days of playing and I finished the game. No, we don't want that. We want something bigger behind it.
Absolutely, yeah. It seems like the longevity of this game, or like play hours, is going to be a lot more similar to the games that we've likened it to, right? DayZ, Arma 3 Exile, like you play those games for, everyone talks about, I have this so many thousands of hours in this game and that game.
Yep.
It's no it seems to me like there is no better type of game out there to get your quote unquote money's worth out of, right? I mean, it's just, it can be endless, right? As far as the content that you can, harvest out of these games, which is really why I'm drawn to them, probably more so than any others. I think that with regards, you started to say something about making it easier for a newer player to get involved. Because a lot of the times, like, you see these players with like loads and loads and loads of hours, right? And they are just so far above and beyond like a general new player. So it's just, a lot of these games are extremely knowledge based, right? And you acquire that knowledge and that proficiency over tons of playtime. How does this game play for a casual player, someone who can't put in tons of time? Do you think it's going to negatively impact their experience? Or will they
are
be
you
able
talking
to...
about like the one thing that like we need to differentiate now?
Sure.
Are we talking about does it make difficult regarding other players and player-to-player interaction or player-to-game interaction? Those are two important things that need to be separated.
That's a good point. Maybe let's try and talk about both, really.
All right, let's go for player to player.
If you don't mind.
The thing like with our survival games and where like new players are quote unquote abused is, we also say SCUM that you can do whatever you want. I can't tell a person who has like 3,000 hours to not go and kill a person who has 2 hours. That defeats the purpose of doing whatever you want, right?
And I think freedom of decision is incredibly important.
And also giving that person with 2 hours the opportunity to just completely own someone who's experienced. I know in Tarkov, that's a good thing. Like you pick up a gun and you can kill somebody no matter what.
Oh yeah, that's also SCUM. Like you, of course, you will be able if you just got in and with some basic weapon. If you caught a guy off, you can kill him, and even if he has 3,000, 30,000 hours, doesn't matter. You can kill him. But still, there is that, let's say, gap of like veteran players and beginner players. And in any game that of this genre, you can't forbid players to have an interaction of abusing new players. You can do it if you say that people can do everything. So what you can do is throw the distraction from that. People who the fame system will try to make it work through that. Like people who have a bigger fame level obviously have more hours in the game. They will be a much better target than new players. If you kill maybe a player who has a bigger fame level, you will get more fame points than you would kill a new player, just a fresh spawn. So that's what we're trying to do: shift the tension of killing and abusing new people, new players, to the to shift attention to like maybe if you're into hunting people, to hunt like players who have a bigger fame level and are more worth. In the end, it will pay more off to go for them than go for like new players. Of course, if you're a person who's like, no, I just want to go, I just want to like drop new players because it's my thing. There's not much we can really do that there.
I don't think there's really anything you should do about that either.
Agreed.
It's just like kind of an unfortunate consequence of the survival environment, you know?
Yes. Yes. I mean,
it might suck for when you're new, but eventually over time, like you'll learn to avoid it or adapt or even take advantage of it, right?
That process of adapting and overcoming those hurdles is what makes games like this rewarding, you know, figuring those kinds of things out and getting proficient to the point where you no longer have to worry about that kind of thing because you've put the time in to get better. I mean, I think that's why a lot of people enjoy gaming in general, right? Is that sense of accomplishment. Like you are now proficient to a certain point where you can just go out there and not be worried about, you know, getting gunned down by every single person. That opens up some of your freedoms with regards to decision making upon, you know, different player interaction. And that's what keeps it interesting, right? Is that evolution of you as a player and getting better to the point where you feel relatively, you know, invincible, or you get to the point where you just don't really care. If you happen to die, you die. It's no big deal. You know, you can get back to what you are or what you were. And that's exciting. I think that's super exciting. What will be the overall penalties for dying in the survival aspect? Like, so if you're free roam survival, not in an event, if you die, what is the consequence?
Well, it will depend on your fame points. The worst case scenario, you will lose your character. That will mostly happen like it's layered. Let's call it like that. If you have a lot of fame points, you die. Okay, I will use a lot of my fame points and I will resurrect maybe without the loot I had, but with the skills I had. If you die really fast again and you have a lower amount of fame points, you maybe won't be able to get all of the skills that you had, but just few of them. And like if you die like 4 or 5 times in a row for some weird reason, probably at one point your character will be just basic, or you will totally lose him and will need to make a new one. That's like that.
I like that. I like that there is like real consequence. I think, you know, not
like,
even beyond just losing the gear that's on you. It really forces you to worry about, you know, I need to live through this situation. It makes it infinitely more tense, which is great.
What we don't like, we're not like too big fans of like hardcore punishing people. Like a game, even if it's a survival and realistic game, it still needs to be fun. You know, if a game is not fun, it can be the most realistic thing. But if it's not gonna be fun, it's not gonna be really successful. Obviously, it's a game. But still, you know, like if you make a survival game, there still needs to be like a limit of how like good and casual you can be.
Right.
And I think we kind of nailed it with that fame system. Like you have like more opportunities the longer like if you die 3 hours in game, you probably won't have enough fame points. Maybe you will to just resurrect your character with some basic skills that you started off, but you know you won't lose really too much from 3 hours. But like if you play for 1,000 hours and die then, uh, you can assume that you have more than enough fame points to get it back. So there's no like too much worry there. But again, if you do resurrect again with the character of 1k hours and die really fast again, then the problems and the setbacks are starting to kick in. So you still need to be careful and need to know how to manage it.
Awesome. Yeah, and just to hear you say something along the lines that like this is a game, it has to be fun. You have no idea what kind of music to my ears that is. Like, I mean, this is something that I say on the daily. People ask.
We're all struggling to survive in the real world.
That's
you don't need to struggle like as
that's
well.
exactly right. That's a great way to look at it. Life is hard enough, man. How about we just focus on having some fun in some video games? You know. So I like that.
I like the layered system. I like it. It's you're losing something, but you have progression, and that progression is slowed down when you die, especially if you commit to it. But you do have something to work towards, which I think is key to keep people playing for long periods of time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Especially
like,
skilling.
Markstrom, you said like what's the end goal of longevity, what people come back to.
Sure.
I had like situations from the people that are playing testing the game. It was beta. You too as well. Chat, they are playing our game, so but I can talk about it. It's killing them, I know.
Yeah.
Back on track. I talked to some people like, oh, I started with a slim character and I want to get him fat, and that's his goal. And he has a lot of time and he needs to work a lot and need a lot to get to that point. So like, if you're like, people can set their own goals in our game, really, you know, like making a super buff character, making a super fat from a slim character, maybe make a guy who's super in crafting stuff, so you can craft improvised guns. Yeah, it's gonna be a thing. Animal handling. Maybe you want to have your chicken farm. Maybe you want to open a pizza shop. Yeah, we have animal handling will be a skill as well.
Oh yeah, the cooking
gang
skills.
slanger jams emporium.
Yeah,
James pizza spot.
Right, exactly.
You guys know that you can make a pizza in our game. You know, so why wouldn't you be able to open? I mean, you can open your pizza shop if you want. If you want to try. Of course,
So,
getting the ingredients is a bit trickier, but
I feel like that would be a good time to talk a little bit about role play potential.
Yeah.
You know, since we're talking about opening up pizza spots and voice over IP, that's coming, right? Of course. Are you guys planning on introducing the ability to communicate amongst characters, and how in depth would that system would be? Like VoIP, like being able to talk.
Oh
to
yes,
other
yes,
people.
yes. In the game, yeah, yes. That's a must. That has to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you plan to have different methods for, because voice is extremely interesting and complicated in the way that it changes a game and how it's played, right? Do you have different plans for proximity versus like a group chat versus like a clan chat by chance? Like very similar to the ARMA system where you press one button. Like I mean that even draws another question. Can you squad up? Can you be in a squad with other people? Is there a party system?
For now, yes, we have a party system. It's gonna be pretty basic to begin with. It's mostly be like you let's say you two find yourself on the island. You right click on him, team up. You're gonna be in a team, and that's pretty much it for time being. Maybe we'll add like maybe a blue outline to your teammate so you know where he is in a certain way.
And that's built into the chip in the back of your head, basically. That goes with the story. Like when you team up with somebody, there's some way of identifying your friends from your enemies. Because as much as we want like an authentic survival experience, nothing is more frustrating than not being able to identify who is actually on your team. And obviously that could be solved with other things like armbands or clothing types, but something that's really embedded into the lore would be as simple as making your head device show your buddies.
Exactly. With a BCU, that's the name of the chip.
PCU?
Body control unit.
Like a BCU.
We can pretty much do anything in the game and explain it to the lore through that chip, you know. So that gives us a lot of freedom to operate and do stuff like that. Hence the outline of your friend, or that we had the outline of your enemy if you focus on it for a long periods of time. So yeah, grouping up for now is pretty rudimental, basic, but we plan like to, of course, try to improve it with time being how it progresses.
Neat. So I think one of the main things then is, because what you end up seeing is there will be people who will jump on the game with their friends who are in a Discord channel, right? And the completely out of game voice, and they're like that, it will be the main sort of communication that's going to occur, I think, for a lot of players. However, you're going to have these situations where you have random player encounter in the game, and you are going to talk to them through proximity, or like, you know, general proximity VoIP, and maybe you want to team up with them. However, if that team comes across another team who's purely in Discord, then they're at a huge disadvantage, right? If there's only one voice channel and it's only proximity, they're a huge disadvantage, because if they split up in any kind of PvP situation, they have no means of communicating. Even if, say, they like flank around the backside of a city in some kind of PvP encounter, they lose contact, which is extremely debilitating, right? And then even if they party up, right, they may be able to see each other, but it's still debilitating because they're not able to make the call outs that are necessary. So that's one reason why I would like to see some sort of like separate voice channel for your party to be able to switch over to it, right? Again, very similar like the Arma system, because then that immediately allows these two people that just had this awesome random player encounter to be on an even playing field with the two, you know, long-term friends who are sitting in Discord. Just the thought. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
It's an interesting aspect, though. Like, obviously that's a certain situation or problem of like using like programs like software like Discord, you know. So I mean, like, if we go that way, you know, there's a lot of I'm assuming there's a lot of other problems maybe with our software that can arise. I mean, of course, that team, if you just have a proximity voice, depending on the distance of the party that is, and another party that's on Discord, obviously that party is in a disadvantage. But a certain point that we as developers, I don't think that we can do. I mean, we can, but really, I'm not sure if it's a smart idea. Is like to go, okay, let's try to even the field, because some people are using another program, voice chat like Discord. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I understand. I think I just like the idea.
You have a good suggestion, definitely. Yeah. It's a good suggestion, and we will of course look into it as we do with all suggestions. But I can't say anything for sure now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was just curious what your thoughts were on it, because I think I personally think that anything that promotes, I think anything that promotes random player encounters and any kind of you don't want anything that is going to make you feel like you don't want to team up with somebody, if that makes sense. Right. You don't want to think, okay, well, now I have to be attached at this random guy's hip so that we can talk to each other, and then maybe that ends up getting me killed. You know what I mean? You don't always want that kind of a drawback. You know, if you come across a random guy and you have the potential for this story, right, this narrative that you can create for the sake of content and your community. I'm thinking as a caster, but even just for your own personal play experience, doesn't have to be for, you know, hundreds of people or whatever. That would be really neat. I think that'd be really, really neat. So, just a thought.
Yeah.
Just a thought. Do you think that, again, in the realm of like RP and VoIP and player interaction, random player interaction, do you think there's a lot of room for diversity of play style? Because we see in a lot of survival shooters, you get these goofy tags out there like, okay, you're friendly, you're a Bambi, you're a bandit, you're a hero. Do you expect to see similar tags placed on people or similar play styles? Is there room to play as all those different things?
That's I really don't know the answer to that. Like, what I can say, like, there's room to people play their own style. I don't know, maybe be huge, strong, or be like slim and agile. But
I
like,
think what he means is like community names, like little, like if somebody develops, there's probably going to be room for a certain play style to become iconic in SCUM, right? Like basically, if you play a certain way, people will call you a bandit, or somebody will call you a hero because you're setting up your own improvised medical station and providing support to those people. That's what he's saying.
Yes. I get it now. That's something I don't like really shooters too much personally. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but
you say you don't like heroes too much personally?
Shooters.
Oh, shooters. Okay.
What if I got it right? There's a similar situation in Tarkov with scavengers, if I'm not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep. So you have an opportunity, right, to either team up with the other player scavs that are in there, or you have the potential to like actually betray them and shoot at them, and then they will target you. So,
well, we don't have like any certain like okay, we're gonna make this and that role, but I see possibilities that they will come up just from the player base. I see that possibility, definitely.
They're definitely community driven.
If you open up your own pizza spot, I mean, I feel technically, I guess that some dude's driven by my window. I guess that opens up a lot of opportunity to just kind of play a role that you create for yourself, like either through the skill system and then also through in-game actions and skills.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, like a basic idea would be that can just drop into my head. You could be good in a medical skill. You can make your makeshift medicine. Be a medic guy. I don't know. Maybe be good at crafting weapons, blade weapons. Maybe improvise guns. Be good at, I don't know, taming animals. You know, I see the possibility that players and the player base will do it by themselves. Really, we didn't have anything in mind to target a specific, but I see it being possible.
Cool,
sweet,
very nice. Yeah, I just think that diversity of playstyle is always really important, just for the sake of longevity for the game and being able to switch it up. Anything that's fresh is fun, right? So,
exactly.
Now that we've touched on Deadly's survival bullshit and we've touched on RP,
man, come on, dude.
Let's I'd like to jump into discussing like combat in general. Just the basics of the game being a shooter. Do you expect people who are more proficient in shooters to dominate the game? Like, do you think that people who have just like, you know, mechanically better aim, like, are they going to be at a significant advantage when it comes?
I don't know. You told me you played it.
Listen, man, I signed a very hefty non-disclosure agreement.
Yeah, we don't know. That line is very blurred now. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I have a very blurred line.
I'm totally not baiting you. Trust me. Okay. But what you played on PAX? Like, how did that feel? You played on PAX. Everybody could play it on PAX. You can say you're.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do think it's good to talk about that. I would say that it took me a minute to get used to the overall controller, right? I think that as soon as I had the buttons down and I realized my ability to truly move fluidly throughout like a city and make plays on people it felt really good. But that did take me, I mean, I played a decent amount. Like I'm not gonna lie, I was hid in a corner in your booth playing as much as I possibly could for like 2.5 hours. Like when I wasn't talking to people, like I was in there hanging. It felt really good, but it did take me a minute. So I think that one of the things that I'll talk about just from the PAX experience was again just your ability to like move amongst obstacles made the combat feel really nice. Like you can dive through a window and then climb up over a wall, and it doesn't feel clunky at all. Like while you're doing that, say like you're making a flank on a player, like he's back behind a building, you can maneuver the environment very fluidly, and that felt great. Because that's something that there's games out there like PUBG where you can try to make those plays, but you feel like that those movements happen extremely slowly, and you're at a significant disadvantage. Like when you're climbing, right? It's a death sentence most of the time in PUBG currently, because you're like, if you're in a firefight, you're gonna get killed in that time. Like that time period is brutal. But SCUM keeps it very fast paced, and I like that. And I think that increases the skill ceiling, which is something that I always personally want from a shooter, right? The higher the skill ceiling, the more room there is for improvement, to feel good about the game and to feel good about your progress, right? You know that you're getting better,
Exactly.
which is awesome. So
the thing that you just need to take into account depending of your character that you have, it will depend on the fluidity that you talked about, that will impact in the gunplay as well, or the events that you play. If you play a guy that's fat, he's going to be slow and sluggish, It won't feel that fluidity that you just mentioned.
That's a good point.
I think on PAX that all the characters were the same. And a pretty good physical shape, so that's why it felt so fast. Of course, it's possible to have that exactly in the game. There are certain drawbacks, but that's another topic.
I do have a question based off the PAX experience. I'm seeing a few people in the chat who actually had the opportunity to play it at PAX, with your movement system, like kind of diving into that. So you are moving in a direction where you have the ability to control your movement speed through your scroll wheel. And do you guys plan on expanding that system or changing that system to allow yourself to basically, for example, keybind a walking state and then keybind a running state? Or is it going to be all controlled through like a scroll wheel, for example? I mean, obviously things are preliminary and experimental.
Yes. I mean,
but
if I don't personally, I don't see why not. It's just like
it would be a cool feature, because what if you have like this would be super awesome if you guys could do this. Like have an ability to really keybind. If you are somebody that likes to move at a very specific kind of speed, at a very like not a walk, but kind of like your gun's up, you're moving a little bit faster, not at a full speed, so you're making a lot of noise, like you have that ability to control it already in the game. And also games like Tarkov have that. And I think that's a lot of shooters don't do that. And I find I want that every time I go back to another game. Like I want to be able to really have full control of my speed. And I know that you guys are doing that, but it would be cool to have the ability to just, if you want to press shift to run, you press shift to run, or control or caps lock to stop.
I don't see why that would be a problem.
Yeah,
to be honest, it's just like maybe there's some like programming back in the background that I'm not aware of.
Yeah, you might not be the best person to ask that question.
Yeah,
of course, don't worry.
But again, if like also there was a lot of questions about mouse sensitivity on PAX below. Obviously, you will be able to control sensitivity. That's like a normal thing that every game has.
That's totally going to happen. Yeah.
And also the keep binding of the different speed levels. I don't see what the problem. I think that there's going to be ability of that possibility.
All right, man, I'm holding you to it. Dude, take the clip. Someone get the clip right now. Wonder if it's not in there. People are gonna riot, man. They're gonna riot, dude.
Man, on our Discord we already have a pitchfork came out. So
good.
It's fine.
He's prepared, fellas. He's prepared.
I think I'm getting a lot of questions now with regards to servers. How are the servers going to work? What is the general population player count for a server? Are we going to see differences, major differences in community versus officially ran servers? Are any of these things decided at this point?
Okay, so first, 64 people per server.
Beautiful. For on a 12 by 12 map, for those of you guys who missed it.
Yes. Regarding, we are also still working on optimization. We're really good there actually, and the servers are running really good for now. What was the next question? I forgot. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Sorry, I want to throw a lot at you with regards to this.
A really touchy subject. Community servers and official servers. You won't be able to have we won't release the server files in the start, obviously. What I have been told is that it's probably, if we release them, it's gonna be broken and the game is gonna be probably hacked much sooner than it probably will be. Regarding, there's gonna be private servers for the hacked game, and obviously we as developers, we would like to avoid that as much as possible. So that's why in the start there won't be you won't be able to make your local server like from your own machine.
Sure.
You'll be always be able to rent servers from our
have
server
them
provider.
Hosted by a provider. Yeah.
And you can have your own server, put a password on it, and be just for your community or anything like that.
Right.
Will characters be locked to that server? Will you guys have like an open hive system?
No. You can only have if you make a character on one server, you won't be able to jump to another.
And
that's even on the official servers too, right?
Yes.
Perfect. All right.
I like that. That's huge because that prevents loads of issues. Oh
man, the hive system is a good idea in theory, but in practice, it's terrible for survival shooters. Ghosting is a huge problem in any sort of official. Basically, ghosting is when someone logs out of a server, goes and runs to a better position, logs back into the server, and then gets a kill on you, right? So avoiding that completely, I think, is a good play.
Or looting up on a completely empty server with no consequence whatsoever, and then taking all of their absolute best gear onto a high pop server and just going to town. That made some massive issues for a lot of survival shooters out there. So
still happening, a lot of shooters out there.
Yes. Yeah. That's why you're gonna have your server locked now.
It's a great way to go about it. That's exciting. Cool. Very cool. Also on the topic of community ran servers, when that is available, this is official plug for Marksman community server. Absolutely.
There it is.
You'll right there.
I don't have,
You're already
first. For that. I really don't know.
I
really can't say.
No, I mean for our official community, our stream team, the Marksman, we will 100% be hosting our own community server when it happens. Through whichever, server provider. Yeah, right. Yeah, whichever host we go with. So it's exciting stuff.
One thing that I just want to add, I saw a lot of server companies posting that they will have SCUM official servers, but we are just going with G Portal, that just them, and that's it.
Okay.
So if you see any other server site that,
can you say that again? You're going with what company?
G Portal.
G Portal. Okay.
G Portal. Okay.
Just with that, I don't know why there's a lot of server companies that said they will have official SCUM servers, and we don't.
They're trying to get on that hype train, man. They're trying to get after it. Yeah.
I know, but just for people who are watching, so you know, if you want to get your own official server, you go to G Portal.
Noted.
G Portal.
Thanks for the heads up on that.
And regarding where it's gonna be worldwide, I think we have everything covered pretty much.
Sweet.
Great. The any idea what kind of things we can expect with admin controls?
Probably in the on the early access start in August there won't be any.
Sure.
For the starters, but we plan to add features of that, something like maybe a loot spawn rate, how much of puppets you wanna have, what there's.
I gotta ask the question and cut you off. Can you choose first and third? Just people are gonna ask.
We also were talking about it because I forgot about it. We had that question tons of times. I just want first person or third person server.
Right. Okay.
We will see about it when I asked our
yeah, it might not be something that you guys will have right away, but
it's
honestly
not
one of the
easy.
biggest divides in survival shooter game types
I
for
agree.
sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
We'll try to make it happen. I got the feedback from our technical department. It sounds big, but it really isn't. It's that it's more trickier than it really sounds. I don't want to go too much into it. I didn't want to go because I don't understand those technical details really.
Right.
I'm just getting the info.
So yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think that the first person, third person debate is exhausting. Absolutely exhausting. So
it's a tough one.
It is. It really is. And it does have a massive impact on overall gameplay. So
yeah, there's always that argument that we quote unquote fixed it because like even if you're third person, if your character can see over the wall, you won't see what's rendering behind the wall, you know?
Right.
But still, I totally understand people who prefer just to have like one person perspective, and that's totally fine, totally acceptable, and we'll see to try, you know, we'll try to make it happen.
Mm-hmm. Do you expect there to be any specific, I've seen this a few times, any specific event servers? Do you expect there to be a server where basically you just jump in and it's nothing but events running? Or is everyone pretty much going to be forced, if they want to participate in events, to be on a survival, main survival server? So like in theory, it would be similar to just the build that was at PAX, right? With different events running. Do you expect that to be a thing at all?
I think it can definitely be a thing. Just if it will be from the start, we will see. Because obviously, when you release a game like SCUM or any server-based game, there's gonna be a certain time span when you will need to level, like how many people are playing, server count that's going to up, down, and then actually balance how many players want just like the event type servers, how many people want survival type servers. So yeah, is it possible? Yes. But we probably won't be in the start. But we'd like to have that as well because there's a lot of people that really like just our shooting system and are just like into first-person shooters or shooters overall. So I don't see like why wouldn't we indulge and expand our player base.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. I think like a server like that has quite a few benefits with regards to everyone's on like an even playing field. Like maybe everybody has the exact same character. And really what you're working on there is just your overall like PvP proficiency, gunplay, you know, so that when you do get yourself into those tense situations that you're able to, you know, handle yourself right in the survival mode so that you're not taking those penalties just due to, you know, inexperience in those, you know, gunplay situations. So that'd be cool. That'd be really
There's one really key gameplay feature that we didn't talk about. And you might not have the answer to this right now, but do you guys plan on having any sort of ability to stash supplies? And do you know how that would work? Or are you guys playing around with that now?
What we have in plan and idea is that you will be able to craft a certain like a loot box. That brings up my doesn't it?
Oh man, he said loot box, that's it. It's over. I'm out of here. Peace out, fellas.
Close the game.
Close the game. It's done. It's over.
We plan to have like a stash that you can maybe craft a wooden box that you will be able to stash in, and also the game works in a way like any like container that you loot, a wardrobe or anything like that. You pull things out. You can also put things in. I mean,
is it going to be persistent? Like they'll last for a certain period of time? Is that the idea?
Yes. The thing that are stashed, they are there.
Ooh.
They're there. Well, we will also try to make that with the boxes that you craft as well. So yeah, we plan to make a stash.
So it's in-world stashes, basically, is what you're saying. In the environment, in the survival environment, there's no offline ability. There's no like fame system and like a safe zone that you can store stuff in. It's just if you want to hide some loot, you got to build a cool base or you got to hide it somewhere where no one's going to find it.
Exactly, but there won't be any base building.
There will be no base building.
No, babe. Yeah, we will. You will have the possibility to fortify current buildings and maybe to put
Boxes,
your.
maybe a little bushcrafting, like a tent. You could
Okay.
a
Maybe
tent.
we'll see.
Give me a tent.
Okay,
He
okay.
needs a tent
Alright.
or a barrel,
I need a
and
tent,
he'll be
man. I
happy.
need a tent.
Something like that.
No, I'm happy with the box.
is
You can give me the box. I'm okay with the box.
Quick question: will there be skins for these loot boxes?
No, actually, my idea is you have like a tier 1 loot box, you buy it, and from that loot box you get other tier loot boxes, like depending from 1 to 5. The 5 is the best one, and of course that you can get it that easily. So you need to buy a loot box to get a good loot box.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Interesting.
I'm getting
That's
hard
thinking right there.
Sure.
Is
The more boxes you buy, the better boxes you get.
Exactly. Electronic Arts, I'm coming.
is there is the idea then to almost take over parts of the map then for the sake of storage and map control for like a group of players? Like, are you ultimately looking to say like there's a couple of houses out in the woods? Is it possible for like a group of players to go make that their kind of like main base of operations, store stuff inside of like the containers that are in the house, fortify it as you mentioned, etc., and just kind of like take control? Because since everything is on a specific server, like all of your character information, all of that is specific to that server, then you could really create like almost like a general sense of like a player economy and reputation, right? Like people know like this area is ran by these guys. Do you expect to see any of that within like the general mechanics of the game?
Well, it's definitely possible.
Okay. Neat.
It's definitely. I don't see why wouldn't people do that. If you get enough like of players, like I don't know, 15 of you, go to a certain village and fortify each house there for your gain. I don't see why not. And like to be known for, I don't know, making pizzas.
Yeah.
Or whatever you like.
Because I know that was a big thing in DayZ, because like we didn't have the tools to do base building, but certain people would form factions, and those factions would control certain villages, and people started to know that. So when you go in there, you'd find groups that were in that faction and kind of add to the story what's going on. So yeah, it seems like a good direction.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
Also, with regards to like, when I meant to bring this up during servers, but do you expect there to be a whitelisting mechanic for a server? As in, there's a group of players who only specific people who have like predetermined, like almost background checked like people who are allowed on the server, like a list of them, like a white list of people who have like indefinite access, right? That you get to control.
We not sure about it.
Okay.
I think that might be done on server side through the provider, right?
Okay. Yeah.
IPs,
Theoretically, it would be.
Probably.
So we'd have to look at the provider that he mentioned. Yeah. Okay. What kind of this is going to be a super selfish question, so I apologize to the viewers. Since everything is on a single server, what kind of preventative measures do you have in mind for some sort of protection for broadcasters? Because I mean, if you're on stream sniping or anything like that, if you're only on a single server and you've put a lot of work into a character and you constantly are having non-random encounters, we'll put it like that, right? Not truly random encounters, that could tend to be an issue. Absolutely. If one group of people want to constantly run to this person's location and kill them over and over and over again, what's to stop them? Is there anything?
I'll be honest, we didn't really think about it at all.
Okay. Yeah,
but I'd be more than happy to. I didn't really know that's an issue. Maybe that's lack of information from my side.
I can tell you right now, it will be.
Issue. It's an issue, but it's a debate.
Right. Yeah, it is a debate
amongst viewers whether or not developers should have to put something in there?
Absolutely.
Or shouldn't need to?
Yeah.
Should the focus be put on the streamer themselves and just let the devs focus on their game? But I know that there's some like things in the settings, like streamer modes, that might hide certain server information or messages that might pop up that might give away their location or like hide certain names or scramble names.
Yeah, I think.
But if you guys,
I think there is like a very minimal amount of things that can be done that have massive impact. Like what Deadly was mentioning, like something as simple as like, I mean, I don't know if at any point, I'm trying to think, you don't see outside of like your party, you wouldn't see somebody's name, right? At any point, like another character's name for any reason. Not that I can think of. So you wouldn't necessarily maybe need a name scrambler, but like if there, say for example, like if I jump on an Arma 3 Exile server right now, it can be very difficult to play on it with any kind of anonymity because every Arma 3 Exile server plasters their information all over the screen, right? They can have things that pop up and it says, this is, AMG server, for example. And so then people, if they want to come mess with your experience or your broadcast, they can do that. And I think just, incorporating some sort of system, I'm not, I don't think that it's too much to ask for to just like be able to like turn something like that off.
I see.
You know what I mean?
What I think the directions, if we will go there, is that it's not gonna be aimed to like help streamers, but to help everybody, like the whole population. Obviously, I doubt that we will like go, okay, let's make a system that will like protect streamers.
Right.
Maybe
the general population is not going to like that whatsoever. And I totally understand the side of the argument that is, it's an occupational hazard, right? It absolutely is. It absolutely is. And it's something that is unavoidable in almost every single survival shooter that I've ever played, right? And it is what it is. You just have to deal with it, and that's fine. But
hiding the server name, I don't see.
I think hiding the server name is all you would really need to do.
Yeah. Anything like that. It's just as long as it's not like super blatant, you're then, because at a certain point when it's like plastered places, then like you're almost inviting people, be like, hey, this is where I'm at. You know what I mean?
I get it.
Yeah. So.
We'll see.
Okay.
I don't think that just like removing the server, have an option to have a server name or remove it at all would be a big issue.
Cool. Yeah. And it's just, and also like there are plenty of people out there who say like add a delay or something like that, right? It's just not a viable option for any kind of broadcaster who wants interaction with their community, right? It's just not. Like that is my absolute favorite part of broadcasting, is being able to speak live. There's no better update in the world to like the Twitch platform than having a 2-second delay, because that's what I enjoy, man. Like being able to have like a free-flowing conversation without worrying about stuff like that's awesome. And I don't think that at no point would I place like my character's gear above that, right, for the sake of not dying. So communication's huge, for me at least. So anyway, something that I definitely wanted to touch on though, because I was seeing a lot of that in chat. One thing that we didn't talk about with regards to massive announcements to the game is recently it was released that the current price point, I don't know if you'd like to announce it, Wonder. It's your baby.
It's yours. $20.
$20.
$20.
20 bones. Super, super exciting. Do you expect that price to rise throughout the development cycle? Because I think that's a pretty standard business practice, right?
Yeah, so. That's standard practice with early access games,
Yep.
When the game goes into early access with a lower price point, and then steadily with, depending on how much update we introduce a new thing, it goes up.
Really exciting.
And for the people who asked, if you buy the game on early access for $20, you don't need to buy it again once it goes on for early access with a bigger price.
Right.
You got it for $20.
Plus, they get to be rewarded for supporting early and maybe dealing with, you know, a few more headaches here and there with regards to the development process. I think that's a great way to go about it. What would you say, like, when the game goes live, and a bunch of people, I'm sure, I have no doubts in the excitement at this point for SCUM. Loads of people are going to be jumping on, right? Especially on a $20 price point. There's going to be no doubt that people are going to be super gung-ho to get their hands on it. What's the best way, would you say, is to stay involved with the process of development, like to kind of track what's going on? And then also, is there going to be any method for providing feedback? Is there
Steam and Discord?
Steam and Discord. Okay.
Steam and
Those
Discord.
are going to be the two primary.
So like no major forum or anything?
Oh, well, actually, we hadn't talked about forums. Maybe. For now, was Steam and
Discord's fine.
Well. You know, of course, it tends to get cluttered. That's why forums are also good. We will also have probably a forum option. But for now, Steam and Discord, you know, they really work. It's the best thing is like to route people like in one place where I can, because I like to interact with our community, obviously, and talk to them, and it makes my life easier, and you will have more chance for me to responding people if we have just like one or two platforms where we mostly engage people. For now, those are Steam and Discord.
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, I want to make sure that. Okay. Yeah, I think a forum is particularly nice because you can see I would say like the running conversation a little bit easier. Discord, there's like a lot of scrolling and there's no like specific topics that are posted, right? It's a little bit harder to sift through. I think a forum is often pretty beneficial if you guys decide to do that.
Yes, we'll definitely try it.
Cool. Very cool. Is there a community SCUM subreddit yet? Does anybody know? That's something I'm actually not sure.
Yeah,
there is. Okay. I haven't looked into it personally. But that's cool. That's good to know. I'm actually super afraid to like delve into any kind of SCUM discussions outside of this, due to the fact that I have access. So yeah, I heard that lawsuit comment.
Well, we won't like sue you like right away, maybe like in a week. You're fine.
Oh,
you're okay. No worries.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Get ready for the leaks, everybody.
Get ready.
Get ready.
I'm the one who leaks stuff. No worries there.
Anything else on your mind, Deadly, before we turn it over to chat to hit it with a little Q&A session?
No, I think we touched on all the gameplay stuff that we wrote down on the list. I think we're ready to go for a Q&A.
Cool. Then we'll go ahead and open up the floor, you guys. If you have any specific questions, please feel free to ask them. I saw a ton as we were going, but hopefully you've written those down and you're ready to rock. Will VoIP be available on release? Can we expect to be able to talk to people when the game comes out in August live in game, at least through proximity?
I don't know what's the state of VoIP, to be honest. I'll once I get back into the office, hit me with that one. I'll answer it when I have more info. I don't have enough info for that.
Okay, cool. One thing that the person who asked that you can do is maybe just ask that question on the just like the going live tweet or even like the SCUM Games tweet. They retweeted our like going live. You could do that perhaps, and then we can remember to go back and try and get a little information out there. Maybe that'll be the best way. Not sure if you...
I also have like in your chat we have like my mods from Discord. So if you are here, guys, the questions that I know the answer to, write it down so I can get them later on and just release it later.
Awesome. Not sure if this has been covered, but is the shooting range going to be available for testing weapons?
Probably not on the official servers, at least. It's gonna be there because on the island a shooting range. For testing weapons, we haven't. Those are events that we plan. You know, you can go into the event, try like the military grade weapon stuff, and go shoot yourself out.
Great.
Test the weapons versus people's faces, basically.
Perfect. Doesn't sound good?
The one thing that we didn't ask that was written down, our bad, vehicles. What can we expect with regards to vehicles?
Vehicles are definitely in plan, from like standard cars maybe to some trucks. Even we haven't talked about bicycles. That'd be fun.
I think bicycles would be awesome for like a more casual means of just getting from A to B a little bit quicker. You know what I mean? Rather than just like some monotonous woods running, bicycles could be nice. Personally.
Yes.
Cool.
We have like we already made a car game, so it would be really like bad if we didn't have any vehicles.
I would say just to dive in next, like a big question I've been seeing all day, and you might not have the answer to it because I don't really expect you to have it now, but anti-cheat. Have you guys thought about how you're going to be handling that?
Easy anti-cheat is answer. That's everything I know.
Okay.
Sorry, what did you say?
Easy.
That's everything I know. I know it's
as the one is what it's called. As the one that
EAC anti-cheat. Okay, so you guys are going to have one launch in August, or is that going to be something that you plan on implementing?
No, I think it's gonna be from day one.
Okay, cool. Well, it's better than nothing because, like, I know it's an unfortunate consequence of game development in early access where people take advantage of early states of games. So, yeah. We've seen too many good games be plagued by that from the very start, which can sour the experience. So,
I mean, there ain't any game that's unhackable, really.
Right.
The best thing of the hacking software that I know of, I said I'm not a tech guy, is the Novio. But as I heard, that takes a lot of strain on the system.
I think people just want to see an effort, even if there's going to be problems moving forward. Like I think hacking is inevitable and scripting is inevitable.
Yeah.
But as long as like you guys have a plan already, that's a good sign because most people don't. Right? Yeah, it takes a long time.
Yeah. Of course, we want our game to be as clean as possible from hackers. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think also just like community servers is a great way to crack down on it, or to have people out there cracking down on it that doesn't require any effort on your part, right? It's up to them. You curate your server. You take it as seriously as you want to. So if there's any kind of like tool available to see like kill feeds or something like that, even within like the community aspect or the survival area aspect of the game, that could be like very, very, very beneficial for server admins to be able to basically keep their server as clean as possible. And then it in turn becomes the player's responsibility to seek out servers that are well curated, right, for a player base.
True.
So that kind of thing is always helpful for sure.
We have like a few ideas with that, but I can't talk about them right now.
Okay.
With the stuff.
You probably shouldn't even talk about them, to be honest. Just keep them to yourselves on your ideas and strategies with that.
Maybe I'm not the smartest person.
Yes, sometimes keeping it close to chest is good.
I saw a question about optimization. We have benchmarks on our official Discord, like of different rigs, so you can go there and check it out for people who are curious about it.
Awesome. There is no date in August. I see that question a lot. There is no date. All that August means is before September, right? That's it. So
I mean, I know the day, but you want.
Oh, okay. So there's a scheduled day. There is a day. That's okay. All right.
Oh man,
you heard it here first. I have not heard that.
Get ready for the riot.
Right. Yeah. Wonder's holding out on us, boys. Let's see. I'm just trying to sift through some of these. A lot of these are very, very similar, which we've all answered. No base building. Some base fortification of existing structures in game. That was mentioned.
I see one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Will you be able to grow drugs in SCUM and other medical items? Medical items.
We'll see about that.
Okay.
There's gonna be drugs. Growing it. Take it slow.
Take it slow, chat. Come on, take it slow, guys. One step at a time. All right.
There's a lot of options. Like I don't see like we can do a lot of things, you know.
I mean, if you want to be a doctor and grow medicinal plants to help people and pursue your play style, I mean, you know, who knows?
In-game disease, glaucoma for sure. So
yeah.
Okay. The will there be trapping? Any kind of trapping with regards to like hunting skills, etc., that could potentially be used for like players? Pitfalls, stuff like that.
Well, there's an idea to make those happen as well. Like
cool.
Trap wires, stuff that can drop on your head as well.
Okay.
So yeah, there's that.
Cannibalism.
It's gonna be there.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's meat. If you need to eat something, you need to eat.
Gotta eat.
There's very quick response time on that with a shot. Like, why not?
Yep. Yeah.
Doesn't everybody do that? Huh?
Isn't that normal in your part of the world?
Will they consider adding?
We're not saying just
Twitch TOS, just a joke. Will they consider adding the Vulkan rendering API as an alternative from DirectX? Doom had this option.
I don't know.
Too technical of a question. Okay.
Too technically savvy. Yeah.
That's way out of my league.
How in depth is the weapon modification system? How deep does it go? Because a lot of us are going to be coming from a game like Escape from Tarkov currently, where it is absurd.
For now, it's, we're not like a shooting focused game.
Right. Survival.
Yes, exactly. But we will have like basic attachments that go onto the guns. Like if you want to scope, you need to find a rail, you need to put it on. Probably we'll also later silencers and stuff like that. You know, for now it's pretty basic. Like you would have. I saw that Tarkov has like you can mod your gun into oblivion.
Yeah, exactly right.
I don't think
to be fair, it's like such a core part of the game, though. It's like part of the focus.
Yeah,
part of the mission of the game too. So
hugely.
So I doubted that in depth, but for now, I said
optics and suppressors. Boom, that's good.
Cool. Will there be a limit on fame points? Like, as in, can you only collect a certain amount before spending them, or can you really rack them up? Because you had mentioned there's going to be different levels of gaining fame as well that perhaps unlock purchasables.
You can rack them up like it's gonna be a system based like on long gameplay time. So there won't be a situation where you will have like when somebody can say, oh my god, he has so much like insanely amount that you don't need to use it anymore. I mean that it's over the top. I mean it's possible definitely if you have one character and you have like thousands of hours in it, probably don't die ever. Don't use them at all.
Sure.
It's very possible. But there will be always like situations where you will be able I have them a lot, but still I can spend it pretty fast.
Awesome. How say from like when you join a server, how long do you expect it to take you to get a gun and ammo for said gun?
Well, it depends on a few factors. First, and the biggest one is luck, really.
Okay.
Depending very strong because guns will be scarce, like a lot of scarce, in the world. I mean, again, if you have luck, you can find it maybe in the first like 3, 4, 5, 10 hours. Maybe not like you won't be able to find it in 50 hours.
Interesting.
So it will depend.
Okay. And I'm sure it will also depend on just like general game knowledge as well, right? I mean, sometimes it just takes you time to just figure out where to look.
Exactly.
So, one thing that I didn't personally get to touch on, someone's kind of hinting at it in one of these questions is, and I know it's one of the things that I talked to you about at PAX East that really had me excited, spectating. There is a robot in game that, you know, we saw it in the recent trailer that was released, and we saw it at PAX East with regards to like the actual event. These robots like film these events, right? Will there be potential to spectate at least as a server admin, if not a general player, at any point at any point. Because what I'm originally thinking. Go ahead.
We had an idea, but there was that problem when who can spectate,
Right.
That the game still needs to be fair,
Sure.
So yeah, that's
right.
a tricky situation that we will need to address, but we will like the idea of that possible spectate mode because again, it's a TV show, so
it ties into
sense.
The lore well. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, exactly, and it's fun.
It's absolutely fun.
But I said we need to address that certain issue of like who can spectate.
Yeah, because I'm seeing like event tournaments already, like where you have
planning them already.
With, like, yeah, like MarkstromTV basically having the ability to control the drone. You don't just have this game show that's going on. You pretty much have like, I'm going to use the example like Twitch rivals. You have like SCUM rivals where you take like the most famous players in the real world and actually like integrate that into the game and the show and Twitch, and like there's so much cool potential for that. So
yeah. It would be huge coming from, my background in like shoutcasting PUBG tournaments and stuff like that, to be able to shoutcast an event and have my community participate in extending communities and invite other casters in their communities, like that kind of collaboration would be incredibly beneficial for the game's like overall community. I think that would be amazing. So it could be really fun. So that's all. Yeah, I'm gonna pester you about that for ages. So you can just expect that question like at least once a week for the next, I don't know, 2 years.
I'm cool with it.
So all right, as long as you're cool with it, because that's a big one for me. That'd be really neat. How strong will the fortifications be? Like, do you expect players to be able to get through them quickly? Will it take them a certain amount of time? Will it require certain tools to kind of break down?
It's going to be, we plan to make everything SCUM skill based.
Okay.
Pretty much really everything. Depending on how good your skill is on fortification, how good you can barricade it, and depending on like how to destroy it, maybe through brute force, maybe lock picking.
The more fortifications you make, the better fortifications you can build. Basically, the stronger they are.
Interesting.
It's pretty much all skills work like you upgrade them by doing certain like actions regarding that skill. If you want to get running, you need to run. If you want to get shooting, you need to shoot. If you want to get weapon throwing, you need to throw weapons. Simple as that. That will also pretty much affect fortifications and breaking into fortifications.
Cool. How does signing offline work? Is there a certain amount of timer where your character stays in to prevent, kind of combat logging or something like that?
Yeah, we plan to add like 10, 20 seconds maybe.
Okay. And then your character is off the server, no issues. It's not going to get killed. Cool. Awesome. No. Not left in the server. Awesome. Day-night cycle is another one. I think there's a general base, right? Like 8 and 2 or something like that for day-night currently.
It's 6 and 2.
Oh, 6 and 2. Okay.
6 and 2 sounds right. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's 6 and 2. If they didn't change it.
If it's not changed by like whoever. Also like I'm sure that will be an admin option at some point. Yeah. To be able to alter the day-night cycle. One question that I personally had that I wanted to ask you is, what is one thing, because we've talked about a lot at this point, and before we wrap up, I'm just curious if there's anything that we haven't touched on that you're looking forward to, like in particular. It was like one thing that you don't think that maybe we've chatted about that you think is important to touch on, or that just personally excites you?
I'm pretty much fed up with everything in the
game. He hates it all.
It's already like consumed you at this point. Huh?
But what I'm personally looking up to. I can't really.
Okay. If you want to think on it while we hit a couple more.
Opening up that pizza shop, man. That's what he's doing. That's what he's saying. He wants the cooking skill, max cooking skill, handing out pizzas from the start. he's gonna get ran down by Bambis. Ran down.
What are you in Bambis? I don't know what's that.
So
it's like a term that's used for new players and survival shooters. That was a famous YouTuber basically started saying that back in DayZ.
Okay.
We'll have to come up with a word like Tarkov has hatchlings. Scum's gonna have scumbags or something. I don't know. Someone's gonna. That's pretty pun, but
it's good.
Someone's gonna figure something out. Right? Someone's gonna coin something. Fresh meat. I don't know.
Yeah.
Scummies.
We'll figure something out.
Cool. Yeah, I'll find it.
Awesome. Will there be a group size limit?
We don't really think there will be one.
Okay.
Let's see the point of it.
So like, one thing that comes to mind is say like there's a 64-person server. If you and 32 of your friends, like a broadcaster wants to take over a server, right? They could theoretically invite them all and then see where every single person is via the kind of heads up display, right? So that would be a little nuts maybe, but maybe that's what that person has in mind.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see a whole lot of crazy consequences, but something to think about, I guess.
When it happens, we will look into it, really.
Okay. Yeah.
I think they should just let it fly.
Let it ride, huh?
Infinite number of party members, just to see as an experiment.
Deadly's just trying to take over a server, man. He's just
kind of low key. I think that's a cool. I don't know.
It's a cool concept. He's planning a conquest, boys. Sign up.
Yeah,
now.
I'm planning a conquest.
Sign up now.
Take over. Take over the island.
All right. We'll do a couple more questions, guys. Just a couple more, and we'll wrap up. Let's see here. Let me know if you spot a real good one, Deadly.
Let me see here. They're wondering. I'm assuming lock picking is planned.
Yeah.
Is it,
yeah. It's planned.
When we log in, this is a good one. When we log in for the very first time, what is the goal, quote unquote? Is it just sandboxy, or is there going to be some sort of immediate objective that's apparent?
I said from the start from the early access there won't be like a real goal, but I said we plan to get away from the island. That's lore based as well, and it's gonna be pretty much
escape from SCUM is the plan.
Let's get away from the island.
Well, so more of like a long-term idea then. Okay, go ahead, Deadly.
All right, I had a question and then I just low-key forgot about it like instantly. Let me see if I can find it again. Somebody just asked. Player interactions like handcuffing, putting bags on their head. You can already piss and shit in the game. That's already been shown. How extensive do you guys plan on having that system? And will you be able to gain fame from any of those actions? Because the viewers will want to watch you like tie somebody up and I don't know.
Yeah, player interaction obviously is the biggest selling point. Fame points, obviously.
Yeah, fame points.
We plan to add as much as possible. The thing that we are kind of limited to is animations. That's the biggest issue for us. It takes a long time to make quality.
But just basic stuff like tying people up, like restraining, that kind of thing.
Of course, yes. For now, we don't have that yet.
Yeah.
But we plan to add it.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
It's in the checkbook.
Cool. An interesting idea. Or an interesting thing that I've just hit on via somebody in the chat here is there going to be some sort of unconscious state? Like, will there be the potential for reviving a teammate or a friend in a certain amount of time, etc.?
For now, there'll be just like a state where somebody can knock you out. You'll drop down and be on the floor for a few seconds. There won't be like a permanent black screen that says you're just unconscious, so you can still maybe come to yourself and just get up and walk again. So for now, we don't have that. And if we want to put it in, we will need to see how to do it because we really don't like the idea of having a black screen and wait to see what happens.
Okay.
If you're alone or something.
Yeah, I definitely get that. So it would be more like it'd be more blunt damage related if you got actually, shot in the head, you're not going to just go unconscious and wait for a revive like many other survival shooters.
I think you're pretty dead if somebody shoots at that.
I'm with you there.
Yeah,
I
pretty
will,
dead.
I will be the first to say, yeah, you are right there.
I mean, if you have a helmet and somebody shoots you with a gun on a big range, then I think a helmet can stop it. We have realistic ballistic in our game,
right.
So
yeah, the ballistics look great.
In real life.
Just from a personal opinion standpoint, like the
Yeah,
video that was done on ballistics is just 10 out of 10.
It looks like you guys, instead of going with the modifications, you're taking a look at how the bullets interact more so. Like that's the thing, like just taking everything into account and really making sure that it's authentic as possible in that sense, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, penetration, ricochets, weather, windage,
damn Coriolis effect. It seems like you guys have nearly all of it.
Maybe not everything.
Yeah.
But
enough. Enough.
Yeah. Enough to make it fun and interesting and challenging. Really challenging.
Yeah. Cool. One thing that I kind of know the answer to, but I want to ask anyway for the sake of chat is damage mitigation. What kind of forms of damage mitigation can we expect in game for a player to have a little bit more survivability, armor, etc.?
Well, for like shooting point, there's obviously like bulletproof vests that can help you stay alive if somebody shoots at you. Besides that, it's gonna be most like depending on your character, really. Like if you're big and strong, you can be knocked out that easy. But if you're like small, somebody can knock you out faster. But the positive side is if you're smaller, you're probably more agile than the big guy, so you can probably run away from him easier than he can catch you.
Gotcha.
There's always those, like, we really tend to put balance in like every feature that we have in our game. There was also a lot of questions like, okay, I will just get a gun and I'll be the boss. Like if you go like Rambo style and shoot everything, first of all, like you won't have infinite bullets. That's the first thing. Second thing is like there's still like a lot of other stuff that are not players on the island that they're attracted to sound. So you need to be careful also that, because if you run out of bullets and something comes, the knife probably won't save you that easily. So yeah, there's a lot of like consequences and balance in our game, I think. We are pretty satisfied with that.
I love the idea that you're using RPG elements or like stats for your actual player to really make a lot of these like unique, almost like a rock paper scissors situations for combat, right? Like This beats that beats this, rather than just who has the biggest gun and the best armor. I like that a lot. I think that's really neat. I think that's going to make for a really, really great PvP experience. So exciting stuff. I think we are going to wrap up there. Wonder, I appreciate your time tremendously. I don't want to keep you for too long. We could probably pepper you with questions for the next 3 hours, but this has really been great. I can't thank you enough. Chat, please make sure you thank my man Wonder here. Very, very, very excited for SCUM. August soon. TM. Any closing thoughts, plugs, anything like that, Wonder?
Thanks everybody for tuning in, for listening me rant. Check out SCUM, check out our social media and everything. And if you're interested, stay in loop and just drop in our Discord and talk with us. That's pretty much it.
Fantastic. Deadly, thank you so much for co-hosting with me, my man.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Wouldn't want anyone else. Let me know any plugs, my man, Mr. Deadlyslob.
No, twitch.tv/Deadlyslob.
Okay.
You know where I'm at. Find me. Come hang out.
8:30 a.m. Eastern.
8:30 a.m.
Day of the week.
Yeah.
YouTube.com/Deadlyslob. Daily uploads for the most part. More like 4 or 5 days a week lately. Please make sure you check them out.
Catch me on the iTunes, the Google Play.
Oh, brand new Slobcast just released.
Man, brand new
Slobcast, 4 or 5 episodes deep now, and it's been a blast. I've been listening to every single one of them. He's on Spotify.
If you want to learn how to
Apple.
become a new streamer, it's for streamers.
It's for broad,
specifically.
Yeah, specifically.
So if you're not interested in that, you're not going to find it interesting.
There you go.
It's on there.
Very cool. Well, guys, my name is MarkstromTV. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was Behind the Scum. You can check me out at 7 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Saturday. Also uploading loads of content to YouTube. And you can expect both of us to, both myself and Deadly, to be putting out loads of content with regards to SCUM the moment that we are able to. The moment this NDA lifts, baby. So,
man,
again,
I got these shackles.
Yeah, as soon as we get our shackles off, right? And then we can jump in as a real prisoner, huh? So, love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, this will be on YouTube. If you weren't able to catch all of it, I'm gonna do my absolute best to put it up this evening. Wonder, thank you, buddy. Guys, have a wonderful rest of your evenings.
Thanks for inviting me.
Adios. Yeah. See you guys.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.